Hello, this is Instructor Rick Powers at Western Technical College for Basic Statistics. Lesson 4, Data Collection, Part 2. When creating samples, we choose smaller sets out of larger sets. The methods we use for selection can have an impact on the quality of the information that we get from the data. If there's some method that messes up the results, then we say the sample is biased. There are many types of bias, but we will consider these: sampling, response, non-response. The standard method of getting a sample, which allows us to use specific math tools, is to require every possible combination of measurements to have an equal chance. This is called simple random sampling. An example of this would be for a raffle, putting all the tickets in a bag and shaking it up. Computer software could also be used. When we use this method, there must be a list of all possible measurements and then some method of random choosing. There are some other methods that use random choice, which are also random samples but are more complicated. Other random methods: systematic sampling, using a pattern, such as measuring every 6th bottle that is produced. Cluster sampling, picking a group at random, such as picking 5 hospitals from a list of 100 and then talking to everyone in the selected hospitals. Stratified sampling, making sure the different types of data are balanced in order to accurately reflect the types of data in the population. All these methods have some negative issues, but also can be useful. Note, do not use systematic sampling if your data has a pattern to it. Specifically, there's one method of sampling that creates problems: the convenience method. Many times people use data which is easily found, but it's not randomly selected, which means it could easily be biased. This happens a lot with internet surveys. Example, people who are in the cafeteria at a specific day and time. There could be all kinds of confounding variables, such as scheduling for specific classes, or economic differences, or dietary issues, or transportation issues. So if you interview people in the cafeteria at a specific time of day, then that data may be biased. Response bias occurs when the answers given by the people do not reflect their actual feelings. This often happens in push polling, where a campaign asks questions in order to get people thinking a certain way. Do you think it's a good idea to raise taxes for insert thing to feel negative about? Another example of response bias would be using questions in a specific order. If you ask, "Do you like your job?" then ask, "Do you like having time to yourself?" Versus switching the order of those questions, then the order may affect the responses. Many polling companies will switch the order of questions each time they ask them. Non-response bias occurs when people who don't respond will have different views than people who do respond. This is also common on the internet, where only people who care deeply about an issue will actually respond. Note the comment section on just about everything. This is also a big deal when dealing with any kind of surveys. Most people don't want to be bothered, but those who do take the time will possibly have very different attitudes about issues compared to the general population. You could offer free stuff for participating, but maybe people who want that stuff also have different ideas than the main population. End of lesson 4.